Yo, what's going on YouTube and welcome back to another Mecha Break video. Today's video we're going to be talking about Panther, thanks to this user here who wanted to do an updated beginner's guide on Panther. So today in this video we're going to be talking about his kit, we're going to be talking about tips and tricks when using him and like using it for your objective styles or team deathmatch, and we're going to also be talking about his matchups. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, as promised, we're going to go right to the training room. Let's just go right into their actual kit for Panther. Alright, so now Panther is in between Welkin and Stellars when it comes to Brawlers. Welkin is the heavy, ultra heavy melee brawler. Then you have Stellars, which we already made a video on Stellars as well. Now, we're going to be talking about parrying, so if you missed my other videos about parrying, we will talk about parrying specifically with Panther, just to give it more of a complete guide altogether. Now, going over his kit. Now, Panther is not like any of the other brawlers that have some sort of range in their kit. Stellars has a 3 ability that can go out and attack and track a target and do some damage. You also have Welkin, who has a 3 that has 6 Welt Swicer missiles that can go after someone. Unfortunately, Panther has no range at all, but what he has is something totally different, which I think why it might be important when people are picking Panther. Not only does he look cool, but you do really need to understand his kit, that the way he works, if you understand his kit, can be really deadly. But if you don't know how to use his kit, you are going to be like a sitting duck in water and you will not understand how to actually use it. The first thing we're going to go over is his main weapon, his Javelin, which is your left click. Now the Javelin, you can use it like a tap and go after someone. As you see here, if I tap it real quick, normally when you do a weapon dash, your main attack is your left click, and you will be able to do an actual weapon dash. In this scenario, this is not the same way. Now he could do a weapon dash, I'll get to that in a second, but when you tap his Javelin, you literally just go a few meters in front of you and attack and pierce. Now, what's really good about this Javelin, you can actually hold it. So as you see, as I'm about to charge up, you're going to actually see 2 bars light up. Now, those 2 bars light up shows the charges that it can do. Now, as you get past the first charge, he's going to be able to go further and do more damage. And as you get to the max second bar, you're going to go the furthest you can possibly go. And on top of that, the most damage you can actually pierce as well. Now, for the sake of the video, we're going to go ahead and try to show you guys the distance you can actually travel. So if you just tap it, I'm on the main square, you tap it, okay, we went about 6 or 7 squares. Now I know that's not the best reference, but I'm just gonna try to do my best I can with this. All right, now if you hold it to the first bar, as you see, you got a lot further for sure, not all the way, but you got a lot further. Now let's go ahead and do the full charge. As you see, you got a lot further than that second charge that you just saw me do with only the 1 bar. Now with 2 full bars, you pretty much get almost all the way to the next pillar. So it does cover quite of a distance. Now with this, you have to understand that reading your opponent's pattern is going to be very key, because as they fly around, and I will bring a Falcon in a second, as they fly around, you have to kind of see what pattern are they going to go to be able to plan for your Javelin to be able to be most effective. Now, as you saw, you could do this from the ground as well. So you can not only Javelin from the bottom on the ground, but also actually from the ground go up to the air as well. Now, when you do charge, you do hold your charge, you do use up some of your energy. As you see here, you do use some of your energy, but as you continue to hold it, you get that energy right back. So what's really important with him is you're going to really want to always have 1 Javelin charge always ready for whenever you need to do something. And then whenever you need to go ahead and do something, you have that Javelin to go ahead and use it. So it's always a good idea to always have 1 in the chamber ready to go when you're ready to attack and pounce onto someone. Alright, for the sake of video, we brought out a Falcon, a poor Falcon. I always like to beat up on a Falcon. Now, when it comes to Falcon specifically, you're going to see as it comes to the damage you can do with your Javelin, we're going to do all 3 charges, and you're going to see the type of damage you actually do. So we're just going to do the light tap. And as you see, that's how much damage you're able to do. All right, we're going to do the 1 full bar charge, see what damage is going to be now. Okay, so a little less than half. As you saw, I was making my way to my 2nd bar, but a little less than half on a Falcon player. Now let's go ahead and bring out Falcon again, and we're going to show you what a full charge will be. Again, I'm fully charged. Like I said, in a normal situation, you're going to want to make sure you always have 1 in the chamber. As you see, Falcon is almost dead. Now, in this scenario, you hope that if you happen to catch Falcon at this level, you can switch over to your next weapon, which we'll talk about in a second. But you can see the damage that you do with your Javelin. All right, now we want to go over his right click. Now, the right click has 2 specific ways to have it. You can have a defense and you can have a melee mode. Now, this is just for mouse and keyboard. If you guys are controllers, you guys can try to change the keybind. I prefer, when playing Panther, I prefer having now that I know I don't have a 1 ability to actually press, I prefer using the scroll wheel as a way to actually switch between my defense and my melee sword. So as you see here, I have my keybind changed. So I'm able to quickly, whenever I want, change into this versus pressing 1. I just find it a lot easier for me to use the scroll wheel than pressing 1. Don't always know which one I'm in, so by doing this, it makes it easier for me. Now, it might make it easier for you as well, so if I recommend anything, I recommend probably, if you're going to be using Panther specifically, I would recommend probably changing that keybind just to make it easier to switch back and forth, but that's just my personal preference. Now, what you do have in this 1 ability. Now, you have 2 things. You have a shield, and you also have a melee sword. So right now we have the shield ready to go. So if I hold my right click now, I have a shield. Now, what's extremely important, okay, extremely important, this shield has a health bar, has a shield bar. You have to keep an eye on it. Now I'm going to zoom in real quick so you guys can see specifically, and it's also indicated by it being light blue versus the other one below it, which we will talk about later, not being light blue. So you know that this shield is activated. Now, if that shield is drained, you can't do anything. You can't pull it up, and you are dead to rights when it comes to that. So just keep in mind, you are going to want to keep an eye on your shield so that you know that you can bring this back up if you can or not. Now, this is also your way to actually parry in this game. So what you're going to want to do, you don't always want to keep it up at all times. You can if you want to, but you always want to make sure you have a target lock, like you have that big giant triangle you see there. You're going to want to see that so you know that you're ready to parry with this right shield. And this, like I said, this is going to be your way to parry. But what you're going to really want to do is kind of deactivated. You don't want to always have it up. And the reason why I say you don't always want to have it up is because if someone's shooting you and is shooting you from the front, they're also going to be eating up that shield as well. And if you're trying to parry and fight someone, that's a bad situation, again, to be in. But if you're trying to parry someone and you're being shot up from the front, you're going to really want to use that specifically to almost deflect and parry so you can get out of there, because a 2v1 is not the greatest situation to be in, depending on who you're fighting with. But just keep in mind, if you have that shield up all the time and someone's shooting you, they're going to eat away that shield and you won't be able to parry them. So that is very important to know. Unlike Stellars, where I had to hold my right click and I have a 3 seconds timer, this, unfortunately, if I eat up that shield, unfortunately, you're dead to rights. You're going to be losing that battle and unfortunately not be able to parry. Now, you could parry if you Javelin exactly at the exact same time, but you both will be stunned. You're really trying to win this melee battle specifically. So the way you're going to be doing is holding that right click to be able to parry. So let's bring out, we're going to bring out a Panther. We're going to bring out a Panther and see how this works.
Shield activated. Weapon not ready. Shield deactivated.
As you see, I'm able to successfully parry.
Shield activated.
Now, again, there's a few things why I lost some of the battles. But as you see here, I am continue to parry, and we'll go over why we specifically lost some of those attacks. Now, something very important to know: while you're doing this, while you're parrying, what you really want to do is hold your left click. Extremely important. As you see, I'm holding my left click and I'm ready to charge them. So then I can then counter them.
Shield activated.
As you see,
Shield activated.
boom. Now I can counter them.
Shield activated.
Like I said, you want to make sure you're charging your javelin at the same time, because then you can then do some really serious damage on them. So let's get rid of this. I just want to show you guys a couple things of why we ended up losing that, got attacked a couple times. One, I didn't get a target locked. So very important to always have a target lock. Now, number two is the energy sword jump dash straight down. Now that ability, and I'm going to show you what you guys look like as we go into the sword next.
Flame mode.
Just like any brawler, Welkin has this, Stellars has this. Stellars has two options actually, but for this, your main one specifically is going to be the jump high and then slash. So here's my melee. Like, you use your right click as your normal. Okay. As you know, if you don't already know, you use up energy when you are actually using your energy sword. So you want to be cautious when it comes to that. Anything you pretty much do with a striker, you're pretty much going to be using energy unless it's bullets and your shields. All right, so now what ended up happening is the Panther was able to get up really high, and then he was able to actually downward slash me, which was pretty much unparryable, like this. That will stun a striker. As you saw, they were on their knees, and that was about 2 seconds, give or take, maybe closer to 3, that they were actually stunned. So again, that is jump high and slash down. That's about 3 solid seconds, maybe even a little bit more. Very, very important. This is going to be one of the best things to actually be doing with Panther specifically, because you're able to stun lock them. When you stun them, it's going to make them really tough for them to get out of stun. Now, what you're going to want to do, normally using your javelin, is going to be really tough to kind of figure out where your javelin is going to go. You're going to be missing targets left and right. You're going to be going for the wall. You're going to be going right past them. What makes it so much easier for you to do is if you decide to hold your javelin, you see here, and then do the downward slash like you normally do. They're down, and then you can then javelin. And then look at that damage that you probably do. Now, let's start over so you guys can see that. All right, we have a fresh Panther. Now, what you're going to want to always do, like I said, one of the biggest tips, always have one javelin in the chamber for whenever you're ready to go. Okay, so you're going to hold your javelin, and let's say you get to a Panther fight. All right, Panther comes to you, or anyone else specifically. You want to do the downward slash. So you're going to jump up high, and then boom. Now you stun lock them. Now, by stun locking them, you're easily able to make it easy for you to hit that javelin, and you won't miss because they are stun locked there specifically. Very, very important when using Panther. Now, if they are a bigger tank like a Tricera or Stego, you're going to want to make sure that they're probably like less than half to be able to do this combo, give or take. So let's just confirm that real quick. We're going to bring Tricera out. Okay, now again, when it comes to this downward sword, this is unparryable, just like Welkin and Stellars, like we talked about. So you're gonna always want to have one in the chamber, and we're gonna do the downward slash. That's a good 25% of their health. So give or take, when you are fighting a Tricera or Stego, give or take, they're around, give or take around the same HP, give or take. If they're around 25% health, you do this combo, they're gone. They are completely gone. So you just want to keep an eye on that. You kind of understand if you do this combo, what you're going to do damage-wise now. All right, like we talked about, the sword uses energy. You could do the downward go down, but on the same time, this is also going to be your weapon dash. Now, for those of you that don't know what weapon dashing is, if you tap your main weapon normally, you can easily do a weapon dash and travel really far, really fast. For Panther specifically, it will be either your javelin to get you a little bit of distance, but to do the actual weapon dash, you're going to need your melee sword, and you're going to be able to actually dash forward. So for me, I'm going to just tap my right click, and now I am doing the weapon dash. Now to stop yourself, press S and you're good to go. By pressing S, you won't use any energy more and you stop immediately and you start to regen your energy. All right, one thing that's very important, and I think this is important for any strikers, to be honest with you, but I'm going to make a mention here specifically. A lot of people don't know this. If you go to your settings and you go to your strikers, mouse and keyboard strikers, go all the way down. I mentioned this in my video for Falcon, but fast landing, by default, it is alt. I don't like it on alt. I tend to change this. For fast landing specifically, it's very important when you're in the sky, because what helps you is if you're in the sky, right? Let's just say I'm in the sky, right? I slowly fall down and I don't gain my energy up, right? But if I do this and then use fast landing,
Stabilizing.
it falls very fast and immediately start to regen energy. So that time difference between slowly falling, you can still be a target from someone if they can easily follow you because you're slowly going down. But if you do fast landing, it's going to make it really tough for someone who have either been in the middle of a combo to like kind of figure out where you went, or if they're Falcons, they're going to be trying to figure out where you went. I don't advise Falcons to go after Panther if they can't avoid it. You want to go range, but anyone they're going to be after you, they're going to be trying to figure out where you went if you did fast landing, because you're going to be really fast and you're going to be trying to get out of there as quick as possible. All right, real quick before we move on, I want to make sure we mention this as well, is you can do the exact same thing with the shield as well. You can hold your charges while you're doing this, while you have your shield up. So if people are attacking you forward, you can go ahead and do this. Now what's really cool, I can show this to you guys. What's really cool is you can actually mid-javelin switch over to melee. So if they're attacking you and you got your javelin, you're going right into them, you can switch this out and go into your melee and use an energy sword. So watch me go ahead and do that.
Shield deactivated.
As you saw, mid-javelin, I switched out my shield and brought out my sword because I knew I wanted to go in and defeat them with the energy sword or get ready to actually stun lock them. So you can do that while you are actually mid shield and javelin. You can change it up. So if you're going energy, if you have an energy sword out and you are mid javelin, you can actually just, while you're mid javelin, swap over and bring out your shield just in case you need to parry. So you can change that however you want, but I just want to make sure you guys are able to understand. One, you can hold your javelin while you're doing anything. And then two, while you're mid javelin and you're actually going towards them with the javelin, you can swap between your sword and shield, whatever you prefer, depending on what your matchup is going to be. So if I'm going to go after a specific, let's just say for an example, I'm going to go after a melee character, I might want to, if I have my sword out, I might want to put my shield out as I'm javelin them, because you know what? They're going to know where I'm at now and we're going to be parrying back and forth. And I want to make sure I win that battle specifically. So depending on what you do is kind of what you want to bring out your either sword or shield. And then you can easily do this while you're mid battle. All right, the next thing we're going to go over is the second ability, and then quickly we go right into the third ability as well. Now the second ability is very unique only to Panther. What you can do with the second ability, it would actually give you a big portion of energy back and also reinforce your complex shield. So just to show you guys when it comes to energy how it is, we're going to go ahead and use this. I'm chasing after someone.
Energy.
I missed them. I need to fight them. Boom. Activate my 2. I missed them. All right. Activate that. And I can do this while I'm doing that. All right, so that can help you guys. It can also help you get out of a sticky situation. You have more energy than they do. So if they're chasing you, you can energy sword yourself out of there with weapon dash and then keep using your energy to get out of a situation. Or you can continue your combos, because like we mentioned, every time you use your sword or anything like that, you will be using up your energy. So if you need to do that, I prefer, while I am going after my target the very first time with a full energy and I start to lose my energy, as I start to notice it about 30% down from what I already had, so about 70% full, I activate my ability then to be able to have a full charge, so I'm able to go after them. While I'm attacking them, that ability is being charged to give me another one ready to go. If I decided to spam them all out, I will have to wait a long ass cooldown, and we don't want to have that happen in the middle of a fight or you're trying to escape. Now, this will also help get you some of your shield back as well. Now, another shield you will actually have to use is your third ability. And if you pop your third ability, you have shields all around. Now, this is not like Tricera shields, but this is all around 360, protect you from any ballistic bullets that are attacking you, and you'll be able to defend yourself. Because without having your shields up, you really do take a lot of damage. Your fluid armor goes down pretty quickly. So you want to make sure that you have your shields up at all times. And now, as you notice now, I'm going to zoom in for you guys. Now, the bottom shield of that bar is lit up and the top one is not. Now, if I decided to actually bring my shield out, now both of them are lit up because they're both being engaged. So when you are using your shield, you want to keep an eye on you want to keep an eye on your shield gauge to be able to see how much do you have available. If you don't have anything available, you're going to want to use your second ability to help reinforce it, and then to get out of a sticky situation. You don't want to always be with very low shield because you are vulnerable to a lot of things and you don't have any protection. You want to keep an eye on your shield gauge so you're able to pounce on a target if you need to, like an actual Panther. Or two, know when you're fighting, if you start to see your shield gauge goes down, you might not be in a good position to parry. You might not be in a good position to take any, deflect any bullets from a sniper. So you want to make sure you get out of a situation. So keep an eye on your shield gauge is very important for yourself as a Panther user, and also keeping an eye on your energy since you need energy to attack. Those are two things to always keep an eye on when you're battling, and it might be tough for a lot of people to always keep an eye on both things while they're trying to keep an eye out with all the chaos going on in the battle. So I don't think Panther is very beginner friendly, but I think by knowing these tips are going to make it so much easier for you to understand how Panther kit works and to use them while you are playing the game. Now, what you have to do is you're going to have, unlike Stellar's who has camo, it can go invis, which I love invisibility. With this, you're going to have to use your environment to get around, to maneuver yourself, to be in advantageous positions to be able to attack and pounce your targets. Now, you are not really going to be there to really go after multiple targets. What you're going to be really trying to do is trying to pull targets away from their objective. Like a Tricera, you're going to try to pull them away when they're on a payload. But what you're really trying to do is trying to isolate a striker who decides to, I want to go after this Panther, or as a Javelin user, you pull them away from their team and you're able to isolate them, and then you can go after them. And then hopefully your team can also notice that what you're doing and go help you finish that target off as well. So what you're really trying to do, you are a killer, you are a destroyer, especially if people have like 10%, 20% health, depending on what striker you use. You're going to be able to easily finish off a target and definitely be one of the top finishers. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, and it's very possible. With Falcons and Sky Raiders, you'll be able to use the weapon dash. It might be tough because when weapon dashing, if they are using their special movements, you lose target lock and you continue to keep going whatever direction you are going. But with those Falcon players, you could still get a Falcon, you can still get a Sky Raider. You're going to be chasing after those Aquillas still. You're going to be getting those Norikamis as well. Those healers, you're going to try to pin them and get them away from the group. You're going to be doing a lot of those things to be able to isolate those characters. And like I said, you're really not going to be trying to go after these higher ultra defenders like Tricera, like Stego, and things of that sort. Now, again, if you see a Tricera or a Stego really low, like I said, 10, 20%. As you saw, if you do that combo, you'll be able to remove them altogether. So we just want to summarize everything we kind of talked about. We talked about the Javelin. Some of the things we're going to want to keep an eye on when it comes to the Javelins. You're always going to want to have one in the chamber. So always, if you have your shield, if you have your sword, or if you have nothing up, just have your Javelin charging ready to go. So it's easy for you to go ahead and use it. Now, if you have a target that is not paying attention to you and they're on the ground, you can easily Javelin them and you're good to go and not miss. Awesome. But if you don't want to miss your target, you're going to want to have that energy sword to have that stun lock on them for about 3 seconds to then use that Javelin to pierce. And like I said, you always are going to want to have a Javelin always charged ready to go. Now, when it comes to the defense shield, you're going to want to keep an eye on your shields, your shield bar. If you have it too low, you might not have enough to parry. You might not have enough to do anything, and then you need to get out of that situation. So always keep an eye on your shield is very important. And as your mid javelin, you can switch between your sword and your shield whenever you want to while you're javelin, so keep that in mind. As we talked about before, when you're in your sword mode specifically, that is going to be your way for you to do weapon dash. We talked about weapon dashing in this video. You tap your weapon dash, so in this case would be right click, and you start doing a weapon dash, so just keep that in mind. We talked about your energy regen with your second ability, with also your shield regen as well. This is really nice. This is going to help you. It's very unique specifically for Panther. Being able to get your energy back to continue to do your damage is very important. You need energy for your javelin. You need energy for your sword. You need energy to travel. So having this energy is going to be reserved. It's going to be very important. Again, use it how your playstyle is. If you decide to be more aggressive, you're going to need that energy right away. If you're not a very aggressive, you're more of a defensive or opportunistic striker, then you're going to be looking for those times to use it maybe once in the beginning and then twice when you're trying to get out of a situation. So you want to have that energy always used. You don't want to use all your energy reserves on your second ability, so you have that when you need to leave, you have that a backup just in case. And at all times, I recommend at all times, always have your third ability up at all times. It is extremely important to have that third ability up at all times. So if you're taking any damage from anyone shooting their guns, you're not taking away your main shield and you're able to have an additional shield on top of it. So having that extra protection is really solid, and you can also really feel from there. You're going to see in those 4 locations, you're going to see where the damage is starting to be taken. You will see that the top right might be being attacked, so you know that someone to your on your right side is attacking you. So you want to make sure, if you start seeing your bottom left starting to lose that blue, and it starts to be red, you're being attacked from the back. So you're going to want to either escape or 2, figure out who's attacking you and then pounce after them. All right, and before anyone decides to, judge me, because everyone says, oh, you don't have a certain title, so I don't, your video guys are good, but you don't have a title, so I don't know if you are that good of a striker. I have Panther's actual striker title. You see right on the top left corner, it's the Lancer. We were able to go ahead and do that a couple days ago and get this title over with, and it's kind of challenging. I think it's a really good thing for you to understand and master Panther, to do the challenges. That would be one of the best ways to do it. Again, what I think I would recommend, always go into the training room, learn how to play the character first there, then you can go into some of the challenges, learn how to do the challenges as well. I think the challenges are kind of difficult, but you're pretty much learning everything you did learn before, but in a time situation and trying to really use your striker correctly. One of the ones is kind of like fighting 6 snipers, and you have to actually carefully maneuver yourself away and not be sniped, because it is a one-tap snipe hit from the striker. So you're going to want to make sure you are using your environment to traverse to this and capture your target. There's a lot of situations where in the challenges, it really helps you become better. So I would definitely say do the challenges so you can learn more about the character. And overall, I think this character is really good. If you don't know how to use a kit, please don't pick Panther. Panther, I think, is one of those characters you have to really understand the kit to be helpful for your team. If you're not still comfortable with Panther, go into casual. Go into casual and try it out. Don't jump right into matchmaking. Learn how to use Panther. He is one that is more of a special character, but if used correctly, can be very, very deadly. And that's pretty much it. That is it for my beginner's guide for Panther. Let me know down in the comments down below, what else did I miss? I want people to look at these videos that I'm making, and you know what, you forgot this, but let me just make sure you mention this. I just want to make sure you understand this, or whatever tips that you guys recommend, post it in the comments down below. I want everyone to learn. Maybe I didn't learn something and you guys are teaching me stuff. A lot of people have taught me some stuff, so I'm just trying to educate everyone when it comes to all the tips and tricks when using it. So if you have any more tips and tricks you want to add to it, please leave it down in the comments section down below. But that is it. I'll see you guys in our next video. You pilots, take it easy. Peace.